Do you believe that Eric Ten Hag should remain as Manchester United's manager? Well, let's have a say on this. Welcome to Premier 7. I am your host, Ryan Nelson. Today I am wearing my Manchester United's jersey because it is the club that I support. Today I want to speak about the manager in Eric Ten Hag because this season he has been under the radar. He has been under fire for the performances that he has been displaying. It is not to say that he is the person that should be blamed for everything, but I know that coaches are more so easier to be removed from a club like Manchester United rather than the players. Today I just want to talk about what should Eric Ten Hag do to remain as Manchester United's manager. I know for sure that a lot of persons are in that mindset to say that Ten Hag, it's time to go. Where do you sit on the fence though? Because for me, I am somewhat in the middle of things. But I can remember in 2022 when we got Eric Ten Hag as our manager. We were all excited because some persons would say that Pochettino should have been the man. But Eric Ten Hag was the manager that we got, and we were all excited. Now, this season, we are not so sure about what he's doing. Yes, we are in another finals, and even though we played horrible in the second half against Coventry City, we managed to escape from the embarrassment. And I just want to sit back and just look on the bright side of things. But remember that reality speaks for itself. So I just want to stay here for less than 10 minutes. So spare me a few minutes of your time to watch the video. And your interaction is highly needed. But before I jump into details, I just want to say that in recent days, I have done a video on two Jamaicans in Leon Bailey and Khadija Shaw. I was thinking that this video would have hit the ground running, but 96 views in 23 hours, one comment, 10 likes. I am disappointed in regards to the outcome of the video. And should I say it was a hit and miss? Because I thought that Jamaicans and others would be, rushing this video. But I guess it was not to be. And I am hoping that this video, the presentation on Eric Ten Hag, would be somewhat better. Now, of course, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you are a follower, continue to watch, like, comment, and share. If you want to know more about Premier 7, you can check me out here on YouTube and follow me on Instagram and also on TikTok. And lastly, if you like what is being done here on the channel, you can always send a contribution in the form of thank you to my PayPal account. All right, so with all of those things out of the way, what should Eric Ten Hag do to remain as Manchester United's manager? There's so much to say about this manager. But what I would say to him is that the formation is the issue. And the formation needs to be adjusted. I can understand that Eric Ten Hag wants to play his style of play at Ajax. It is not impossible to do, but the players that we have do not know how to play such formation. And in Jamaican terms, you cannot force people against their will, right? So in that case now for Eric Ten Hag, the formation has to be adjusted. Eric Ten Hag always, or more so, plays a 4-2-3-1 formation with one person holding as the DM. Remember, the midfield is where the game is won and lost. And that is the issue that I am seeing in almost every games. Casemiro is the only man that he plays in the DM role, or sometimes a Kobe Meno. But the players who are playing in the midfield as a support system that should be assisting the DM. McTominay is only good in the box, and he's that person who likes to go forward. Bruno Fernandes, the same thing. But even though Bruno Fernandes' work rate is good, he's an engine, he's a tank. Those two midfielders has to stay beside a Casemiro when there's a need to. And it boils down to the discipline of the players as well. But Eric Ten Hag, you will be the person to be thrown under the bus. So I am saying here that seeing that the midfield is the issue, why not plug the midfield? Why not play somebody beside a Casemiro or a Kobe Meno who is somewhat disciplined? Why not play a Meno then with a Casemiro in a defensive two then? Like a Gareth Southgate tactics to some extent with a 2 DM role in the midfield. Because the thing is, our backline is not as quick as we want it to be, especially when Harry Maguire is playing. Harry Maguire has found form recently, but Eric Ten Hag wants to play that high line. Seeing that we cannot play that high line because Lisandro Martinez is out because he's injured again. Luke Shaw is out because he's injured again. Dalot is playing okay as the right back. And sometimes, a Varane would be the main man that we want to play with a Martinez. We're not having that chance to play our best back four. So if that's not the case for you, Eric Ten Hag, why are you trying to play a formation that the players are not, I would not say comfortable to do, cannot play? So my solution to you is this. If you're going to use the back four of a Dalot, uh, let's say a Kambuala, Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka, because we don't even have Malacia. Play Amrabat beside a Casemiro. Play a Casemiro with a Meno in a defensive two, and Bruno Fernandes play as a number 10, because the defensiveness of the team is what we miss, right? In terms of the midfield, our midfield is already slow, and we cannot, break down teams properly. We hit well on the counter with a Rashford who is not in good form. Most persons would say he should be leaving the club. Garnacho isn't bad for us as the right winger, and Rasmus Højlund is playing extremely decent as a striker. But the end result is that we want for him to score goals. He lacks the creativity in regards to support system from his teammates. So the thing is now, Eric Ten Hag, when we score a goal, I'm asking you kindly, if we score a goal or two, and you're seeing that our team is on the back foot, why are you making changes to put on players like even an Anthony? Why? Why aren't you even thinking about using a Amrabat, as I've said before, or even changing the formation to a 4-4-2? Close off the game if you cannot win the game, because we know that goal difference matters. What if it reaches a point for which you need just 1 point to go through, or you need a goal difference to save you? Absolutely, we will not have that right now this season. And the thing is, all could be said, but it always boils down to what the manager decides to do. And the fans are frustrated. but I have given you just a small insight about what you can do to make things better. And by way of that, you just have to come up with something that can work. It may not be what you want, but work with something for now. Because I know that in the summer transfer window, you wanted to get rid of a Maguire and a few other players. But the Glazers decided against that. But you receive players like, let's say two, because it hasn't been the best in terms of transfer for Manchester. You receive a Mason Mount, for which we don't see how well he is adapting to the Manchester United's team. And you also had bought an Anthony. Yes, it wasn't your fault for which his price tag is so high. But you miss and you hit at times in terms of tactics and players. We got players like Wout Weghorst the last time and Sabitzer that did not make much of an impact. But Manchester United is in the slump, and we need for our team to rise up. I don't think it is wise for Eric Ten Hag to be sacked, though, because we saw the past with uh, David Moyes, uh, Louis Van Gaal, Mourinho, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ralph Ragnick. So, Ten Hag, if you want to save your job, I know that you have what it takes to make a difference, but the stubbornness that you have has to change. You cannot make changes to what you cannot change at the moment, like to bring in new players like a Toby, the player that many persons would be saying that he should be the defensive defender that should come into Manchester United's team, Branthwaite, etc. Start from making the changes with what you have right now. Bench some players who need to be benched and start players who need to be starting. All right? And in that case, I gave you my small points, and you have to come up with something that makes a difference. You will need to generate an idea. And if you don't, then something will happen. Is it a case in which you don't want to remain as Manchester United manager? Well, if you don't, then maybe Premier 7 would have to kick in as the United's new manager. So, Mr. Ten Hag, if you don't make a change, this will be the outcome.
Sacked in the morning. You useless bastard. You're getting sacked in the morning. He's even worse than us. Whoops. Sacked in the morning. What's the gigs? What? Sacked in the morning.